was pondering it and I saw it on Twitter X. Someone said, hey, is Pirates of the Caribbean an underrated trilogy? Here's kind of my relationship with Pirates of the Caribbean films. This is also just straight off the dome, straight off of memory. It's not like I rewatched, you know, the 3 films from the trilogy in anticipation for this video. Kind of just off the dome. The first Pirates of the Caribbean film is amazing. I absolutely love that film. I grew up with it. You know, what's not to love? It's got a great villain in Barbossa, and it has even better protagonist in Jack Sparrow, Will Turner, and Elizabeth Swann. And just throw on top of that a bunch of fun side characters. You know, what's not to love? It's got action, it's got adventure. Dude, it's funny, it's got some romance. Romance? Can I interest you in some romance? And yeah, dude, I love that film to death. It's a amazing movie, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, whatever you would say. And I think that's the pinnacle of the franchise, is the first film, actually. The score, too, dude. Ah, gosh dang. I forgot the score. Hans Zimmer was freaking cooking up like a big old steak barbecue. Like he's cooking up Godzilla with that one. And then we get to the second 2 movies, which are complicated. I think Davy Jones, let's start with him, an amazing villain, a phenomenal villain. I did a full analysis of him on my other channel. You can check that out. One of the best villain designs probably of all time. Bill Nighy. Again, one of the best underrated villain actors of all time. He's got a good backstory, but he's still intimidating. He's still threatening. The whole entire Flying Dutchman, just great villains, great aesthetic, and like I said, design in particular, CGI too, you know, overall. But I will say there are some complicated story threads with the second and the third one. You got like Elizabeth becoming like the queen of the pirates and stuff like that, and Tia Dalma's, again, hit or miss sometimes depending on where you're at with her. There's a lot of good stuff to like about those films, and there's also a lot of just messy stuff with those movies. But I will say overall, looking back, I think of those 2 movies with fond memories. Are they perfect movies? No, not at all. Sometimes I wouldn't even call them great, but there's good action. You know, the characters are all still there for the most part, and like I said, look back with fond memory. So that brings us to the question, is this one of the most underrated, you know, trilogies film of all time? I'm gonna say no. I'm not. I'm gonna say no. Here's the thing, okay, when you think about a film trilogy, I personally think of a nice cohesive story. I think those are the ones that make the best trilogies, you know, not films where it's like, okay, here's 1 and here's 2 and here's 3, they're connected, all the same characters and stuff like that. I like it when you can watch all 3 of them. That's the metric of a good trilogy. The fact that you can binge all 3 movies back to back to back and still have a good time. Take Kung Fu Panda. You can watch all 3 of those films. 1, 2, 3. Fire. Star Wars. Fire. Lord of the Rings. Fire. Planet of the Apes. The new Andy Serkis ones. Fire. So insane. Those are the trilogies that really stick with us. The ones that you can binge them. The ones that the quality more or less is consistent through. And I don't know if I can say that for Pirates, and that's the bummer part. Because if someone was like, hey, just put myself in the situation. If someone was like, hey, you want to binge Pirates of the Caribbean? Let's watch all 3. Maybe. Let me see if I can find something better first. You want to just watch the first one? And also, to those films' credit, I think that you have to be able to watch them individually. And if someone was just like, hey, come over, we're watching Pirates 2. No, thank you. I'm busy. We're not watching Pirates 1, or like we're not just watching Pirates 1. No, we're just watching Pirates 2 because it's fun. Yeah, no thank you. And I think that, you know, that's kind of the tough part, is you probably have to watch them through. You have to be hyped up on the storyline of Jack Sparrow and all of them to really see that trilogy through. And I think that that's why they worked, was because people were so excited off that first film, they were willing to go to the second film, and then the second one ends on such a cliffhanger, we have to go see the third one. But looking back in retrospect, now that I know what happens, now that I know Jack's gonna live and Will's gonna die at the end, he's gonna become Davy Jones, I don't know, man. The hype and the anticipation is not there to finish watching that trilogy. Those are just my thoughts though. What do you think? Is Pirates of the Caribbean one of the most underrated film trilogies of all time? Hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, Brooklanders. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. Subscribe. I'll talk to you later.